Hey, good morning. Good morning. In my marriage counseling, anybody want to get married? Anybody need marriage counseling? This is the book I'm gonna start using for my marriage counseling. Husbands who won't lead and wives who won't follow. That's what I'm gonna start doing. And I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring some copies in there. You know, but I just this season, this year is about accountability and responsibility. Two words we must realize not everything is on us. And God wants us to take these words that we read and we study and books we're reading that He inspires us to, uh, um, and start applying this stuff. We need to learn to apply things to our lives. Where we at, Shima? Page 101, everybody. Page 101.
Jerry felt so strongly about Mindy that he could hardly describe it. I have never felt such a deep connection with anyone. I just can't let her go.
Okay, this is one thing, one word that I've gotten today. Learn how to let things go. Some of us hold on to things that are not important. And things that's important we won't take hold of. Okay? You gotta learn how to let go of something. There's some people that you gotta let go for your growth. I used to say for their growth, but I still say that in certain cases. But for your growth, the way life is now, people will use you until they've used you up. When you die, they're gonna find somebody else. Pastor Lewis told me that last year. He said, "Son, you need to change the way you're doing it." He said, because they will kill you and raise somebody else up. They've been doing it from the beginning of mankind. But you got to know when to let go. What that song by Kenny Rogers? You got to know when to fall. You got to know when to fall. You have to know when to fall. If you really sit back and really take inventory, most of the problems you're dealing with ain't yours. Yours are so hard because you know about everybody else in it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And this blame game thing is you're going to see it this year like never before. Everybody blaming everybody. Where's that scripture? Acts 3:16. 3:16, 3. Acts. When Paul tell y'all, save yourself from this untoward generation. Save yourself. We're trying to save everybody else. You cannot save nobody until you save yourself. When you get out, we talk about that most of the time. When you get on an airplane, the first thing they tell you is do what? They give you the safety rule. Then they tell you where the oxygen mask at. You drop it down, it falls down, and then they tell you to put the mask on who first? Yourself. But we too busy worried about everybody else. At this point, if you don't pay your bills, that's not my responsibility. I used to feel guilty and felt like I should have done to help you when you didn't help yourself. And I found out something going on with that situation. Those people usually won't help themselves. They would go the rest of their life. A girl called me last night. I just got on the phone with her, talked to her. Because she texted me something at the end. So she said, see, this is why I follow up on stuff. I don't know when this started, but I do it now more since I'm in church. When somebody tells me something, I believe everything somebody say. Someone's got that, just because, let me use Jackie, my sister Jackie. Good example. She called me and said, Steve, you know Miss Jones? Miss Jones, house caught on fire, and she was in the house. I said, for real? So I'm thinking, I just talked to my oldest sister about 3 days earlier. She said, Steve, she said, my neighbor who stayed in front of me, her sister lived by Miss Jones, that was the instructor at the school, and her sister got burned up. And I just, and I thought about it. I said, you know what? Such a jacket. That ain't what Spud said to me. No, it was Miss Jones. So to clarify, I called Spud. I said, Spud, didn't you not tell me Miss Jones? She said, Steve, Miss Jones been dead for a long time. She said that my neighbor's sister stayed in front. She said, stop believing everything somebody tell you because they don't know half of the story. Right. So the girl texted me back last night at the end of our little communication there. She said, can I give your number to Quinn? So I said, well, I knew what she was talking about. So I didn't text her back. Then I finally texted her back and said, did he ask you for my number? And she never answered. So today I was talking to my godbrother. I said, Diane texted me, said Quinn want my number. He said, don't get Quinn your number. Quinn is 60 years old who lives with his mama. Quinn is on drugs. They had a Mardi Gras party for the class, and they over in Homewood, it's relative. It used to be all white. It's just relatively mixed now. And he got an active fool. They had to call the police and have his mama car impound. 60 years old. Now I'm sorry, y'all are different than me. I'm not finna take up for no 60-something-year-old boy who stays with his mama, who's on drugs. So I called her. I said, why did you call me? Asked me like I said, Quinn asked me. I said, yeah, I told Quinn you stayed in Georgia, and he asked me for your number. And I said, well, I can't give you his number without asking him, so that's why I text you. I said, you did right by not giving my number out. She said, but don't fool with Quinn. Well, don't tell Quinn where I'm at, because he ain't coming over here and getting a dime. Yeah, because he been trying to move in with me. I said, that's you. I said, in your condition, you don't need to be. See, I don't have time for that. And you need to stop having time for that. Because if they ain't got together over 50 years, something is wrong. And God is not, I don't care what y'all say God is love. There's time when grace runs out. Grace runs out. She said, yeah, because he don't own nothing. Well, why you giving me my number? I don't do that no more. Let's read. Huh? Yeah, read that scripture. No, that's the one I want. I want the one that says, save yourself in this untoward generation. Isn't that in that same text? That one's about the name. Yeah. And that's what's wrong with the church today. We done carry so many people, now they just use us. They find your church giving out food, everybody come over. Even the one that got good jobs. How you got a good job? You making it, but you want to go get free food. And you're taking from the people who really need it. There's some things going, I really believe, I know I'm saved. I ain't got to believe that, I know that. But there's just some things don't move me no more. Lady drove up at the Kroger's last night. I was getting in the car. I live out by the Mall of Georgia, and I need a couple of dollars for some gas. Oh, well. How did you get over here on Peach Street this Boulevard? Huh? And then you take somebody like Kathy, the love of God. What she has in the Lord, the love of God. She just opened her purse, and now the woman has snatched her purse and gone down the street with it. That's where your discernment comes in at. We lack discernment. We would lack sensitivity. Did you not know people use sad stories to get stuff from you? Anybody ever had that happen? Yeah, and I'm telling you, too, family members use sad stories to get, my cousin called me, and he said, Steve, I'm about to lose my house. Well, I don't want to see nobody lose their house. But this is what he said that made me didn't help him. My sister go pay a month. And I think I can come up with a month if you'll pay a month. Okay, bro. You must go lose your house. Because I ain't giving you no money. He had heard that my wife had passed. He didn't come. He didn't call. But now you call me and ask me for some money. I don't play like that. I'm nice as I want to be, but I'm sorry. Though God is tired of his people being used on earth. The only somebody he wants to use on earth is you. He wants to use you for his purpose. But God did not put us here to be used. And you can talk about all that I give to the poor and all that. Guess what? The poor sometimes is taken from you. Because just like that lady asked me for gas last night, she could have went to work. She's in a big old luxury truck. I wanted to ask her, where your man at? He let you take the truck with no gas? We don't look into nothing. Start 1 Corinthians 2:15 in Amplified Bible. Hold that. But let's go to the book right now. I'll get you that probably tell you. Where we at? Page 101.
Unable to leave a relationship that had been very hurtful to him over 5 years.
Yeah, see, someone won't let a relationship go. Some of us feel like, I want to know why. I need to know why before we read this. Why do we just hold on to relationships that ain't going to ever work? Why? Somebody talk to me.
Bishop, I think some people have low self-esteem, and that's all they say.
Okay.
Or
Anybody?
hope that they'll change.
Huh?
Or hope that they'll change.
Okay. We read about that earlier. People not, let me tell you something. People ain't trying to change. Very few. Anybody else? Why so hard to let go? I'm not just talking about relationship and husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm talking about friend. Why is it so hard for us to let go?
I think people that battle with rejection have a hold on people because it's hard for them to feel that rejection again, even if you're not, you know what I'm saying? If that person leaves you, you feel like something is wrong with you because you battle with rejection.
You know what helped me through my rejection in the Lord when I got saved? The Lord took me to Isaiah. He took Isaiah 56. He was wounded for my transgression. He was bruised for my iniquity. One day I felt, because I battled rejection. And the Lord said, I was rejected, so I know how you feel, but I didn't live there. That's why you see me now. If you notice me now, a lot of times I'll find something to do. Because I had to grow out always thinking I had somebody there. And friends to me, if you saw my friends that come here, friends to me was like my brothers, See, some of the girls were my girlfriend, they was friends. And I was pretty popular in school. And then when I started getting older, that started to drift. So I'm back where I started at. See, so the Lord blessed me in another way. He blessed me with that. You give people what you want. That's what we don't do. That's why some of us stay there. You need somebody, you be there for somebody. All this party y'all see.
I was going to say, I think every situation is different, but I also feel depending on the longevity of the relationship, some people have soul ties that they don't know how to break from that person.
Because they don't understand soul ties. Okay. No, okay. The safest people that God put on earth for you are your parents. So when you've been rejected by your parents, there's a whole different ball game. Because those are two authorities in your life. That's why when people get an authority figure that should have been protecting them, harm them, that hurts them. See, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, in that case. Now, I think sometimes because the person, it all started with the parents. That's where we're missing it at. All this confusion that we're seeing now is from the parents. They can say all day people are born this way, people are this way. No, they're not. That's not true. The first person who touched you in a hospital besides the doctor is your mother. And if the father there, you pass it on to him. That's where it all started at. You don't believe me? Go back to Genesis. Same thing. See, somewhere down the line, Cain disobeyed God because of Adam and Eve. They opened that door. So I think a lot of times, if you learn how to deal with rejection, that's why Jesus said, I believe the Lord said that to me, because he wanted me to deal with rejection. Because where he was bringing me to, I had to endure rejection. So me and you had that conversation that day. I don't know how you do that. Because God taught me how to do that. It's none of my own. You know, there's days I miss my wife. There's days I miss my mama. Anybody miss their mama? And then you think about, oh, she was so mean. Y'all said, my mama was so mean. My mama wasn't mean. She just was sturdy. And she realized she had to be that way in her days and time. Because back in the day, older men would talk to little boys, help the little boys out, get them a job, take them out of grade. They don't do that no more. And I guarantee if you do a research on it, you'll find out that's where it comes from. Same-sex parents. A boy learns how to be a man through a man, not through a woman. And so many women want their boys to be men, so they go all out the way to do it. Very seldom a woman have a boy that she really wanted to be a girl. Very seldom. But she understands the principle. Because they won't, I don't judge, I used to judge, I don't judge it now because now I understand it on another level. Like, if you stayed in the house by yourself, how many stayed in the house by yourself, period, when nobody in there? You're looking at one. I used to play with myself. I had to talk to myself. I ain't similar. My brother would go to the basketball court. I'd go down there with him. He picked everybody but me. Now, he didn't know the rejection I was dealing with because we never talked about it. See? And this is what I get at y'all about. Some people don't know when they're in a good place. I was in a good place with Mama Glover because that's where God wanted me to be. Because I was the rebellious one. So if I moved to my mama's house, she probably would have killed me. That's how she beat him and what she would do. She got my brother one time put a knife in his neck. I would have been cut. See, so I was in a blessed place. See, Mama Glover spoiled me. My mama would call her, stop giving that boy stuff. Where he at now? I be gone somewhere. You just let him do too much. But that was God protecting me. So that's why I can love her. I never jumped in my mama's face and said, you gave me away. Like these children do us now. You weren't there with me. You raised me, but no, we could never do that. And my mama bought me one gift my entire life, and I'm 60 years old, and she going to be with the Lord. She bought me a pair of pants from a store we call Cheap Charlie for $3. And Mama Glover went off. How now? See? Rejection that's what we're fighting now. All those kids out there acting up has been rejected. All of them. All of them. That's why sometimes they can go back and talk to that parent that they missed, but they can talk to you who raised them. Wow. Because they missed that. Read.
Jerry pleaded with his friends for help, but they did not know what to say to him anymore.
Yeah.
They had heard all the stories of how difficult Mindy was to be around, how impossible it was to please her no matter what he did, and how intense she was about insignificant things. Whenever they told him that he should say goodbye, he would have the same answer. The connection was too strong.
Yeah.
He came to counseling to try to get out of the relationship because he could not do it by himself. We talked about the strong connection he felt. As it turned out, Jerry felt most connected when they would break up, and she would be really sad, or when other terrible things would befall her, and she would need him to comfort her to help her out. In fact, the best times they had were when she needed consoling.
That's where most people are. When they're connected like that. They don't really want you. They want to be consoled. Read.
Or help, or money, or some other crisis intervention by him. The truth was that they did not really have a mature connection at all. They had a rescuing connection.
I love my siblings. Okay? I love my brother, I love my sisters. But when my wife died, they didn't do nothing for me. They came over here the night she died. 2 of them came over here with their family, and they left. And I had no more back for them until they got here for the funeral. I wasn't looking for them to do nothing for me because we never did it like that. All these parties you see we having, these bad, we didn't do stuff like that. On your birthday, you know what? They probably wouldn't even remember it's your birthday. My brother called me and said, boy, your birthday was August the 10th. Boy, I said I was born on August the 21st. That's just how we communicate. But we wasn't mad. We weren't trying to pull each other together. They came to me and said, we want to do something, just our immediate, us, the siblings and their children. I said, okay, what y'all want to do? They said, we want to come to Georgia. Okay, now they told me this right after before Alicia passed. We ain't got to Georgia yet. I'm not mad. Ask me how many Christmas gifts I got from them. 0. I got more from y'all than I got from them. But when time comes, we know we siblings and we love each other. I borrowed $160 from my brother. He ran me down. And that was when me and Lisa first got married. I never borrowed nothing else from her. He'd be the last person I called when I'm in a bind. And he got money. But they'll call me up. Hey, Steve, I want to get some cologne. Could you send it to me? Because of my heart. And I always wanted to be with my brothers and sisters. I would do it. I would do it. Do you think when they walked in the door, they said, you got everything taken care of? You need anything? Not one. Not one. You know who walked in the door? Pastor friend of mine, all the way from Savannah, came to town. Stayed 4 days. I came for you. Walked in the door, gave me some money. Then she said, I gave the kids some money too. That's love. Till she canceled her service during that week to be here. She said, no, I ain't got time to take you to eat, so I'm going. And she opened my hand and put me some money in there. And she stayed the whole time. Y'all don't know how good y'all got it. It's people like that has kept me going. It's people like y'all that have kept me going and don't even know it. And now one of my siblings can walk in this door and say anything that I said to them about you all. We got one of them call when I get to Bible study tonight and tell, get out my daughter's business. Like, in so many words, we don't talk to you about stuff like that. We don't. Now, Tasha said it, and I appreciate her saying it. Felicia said, I appreciate it. Everybody's different. You may handle yours different, but I know how I got where I am these 60 years. And I overcame rejection. And when it comes, I know how to fight it. See? Okay, where we at?
When she was in pain or in need of help, they were very close. Other times, things were stormy. As we worked together, Jerry realized that he was a rescuer.
Yeah, I always rescue. Y'all better stop that. There we go. Put my scripture there before we do the prayer. 1 Corinthians 2:15 in Amplified Bible. Y'all better stop trying to rescue everybody. Anybody in here besides me have been in a bind where you needed somebody to rescue and nobody came?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Nobody came. As a matter of fact, they probably didn't think about you till it was over with and they knew you had came out and then they want you to help them. So we're using the scripture out of its content. 2 Corinthians 1:4. When you was getting money for your children to go to school, how much they gave you? They came to the graduation, they came to the graduation dinner, but how much did they give you? See, I look at stuff like that. Because why, Bishop? Love is what love does, not what love talk about. Not what love talk about. You know how Dr. Kenyon and I got to be real good friends? My wife met Dr. Kenyon. We met her when my wife spoke. Because I asked her, I said, how did you know my wife died? Because we didn't talk. She said she saw it on Facebook. And she said, I got to get there. And I remember the day of the funeral when she walked in the door. She had that mohawk. And I saw her when she came through the double doors at Dr. McCoy's church. And from that day on, we've been friends. Now, Alicia been dead how long? Over what, 10? Over 10 years. To me, that's love. To the point that during the Christmas holiday, she would invite us out. We go to her house and eat. And said that way. She said, we got to really do that again. And there's members in our church ain't never been there. You got to learn where you at and appreciate where you at and stop always pull yourself out for somebody else. Read. Who covered us in what?
And encourages us in every trouble.
Anything you go through, yeah, come on.
So that we will be able to comfort and encourage.
So we can comfort others, but you got to know who to rescue. If for 6 months out of the year I got to pay your light bill, that means you ain't trying to pay your light bill. Well, the children over in the door, well, that's their mama's fault. Because when we had the portion, we were responsible for her. You know how y'all drop them off at an anniversary? We couldn't drop her, especially at my mama's house. Shoot, she wouldn't even answer the phone. Then we tell the next day, we went out for our anniversary. Did the baby go? Yeah. Because my wife didn't believe in dropping her baby on everybody. I want 1 Corinthians, Darion. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Yeah, my mama believed that. Done at the